Does anyone else own noise-canceling headphones? I do. I love them, or I did anyways. They were really nice to just kind of zone out in my own world. Being able to listen to audiobooks and not hear the traffic roaring by outside my window was a blessing. I even took them out sometimes when I would go for walks, go to the store, or really anywhere I didn't desire to socialize. And taking them on a plane ride? Forget about it. It's magical not having to hear the engines or crying babies. There is one feature I didn't know existed until recently, though. There's a button on the side, when pushed, activates the ambient sound mode. This essentially allows you to willingly listen to the sounds of the outside world. I get it. Maybe if I go for a walk, I should be able to hear that car sneaking up behind me. Up until recently, I hadn't had any issues with my headphones. Up until recently, I hadn't had any issues with anything. Well, this nice little feature of allowing ambient noise through my headphones was just that, a feature. I never really wanted to use it, but now my device is on the fritz. It happened at first when I was at the store. The ambient mode turned on, and I could hear everyone around me talking, nearly drowning out my music. There was so much white noise, I couldn't even hear myself think. I turned it back off and plunged myself back into silence. The next time it happened, I was alone in my apartment. This time, I was using them with my laptop, listening to some videos while working on some homework. The mode activated again, but there was no crowd to hear. Instead, I could hear a faint static white noise. I pulled my headphones off and I didn't hear anything. I was a little disappointed because this probably meant my device was on its way out, despite only owning it for a few months. Now, this is where things got strange. I remember falling asleep on my couch with my headphones on. The device changed modes while I was sleeping and then woke me up with the sounds of very loud static. But it didn't quite sound like static. It sounded more like air was blowing on the outside of the headphones. All my windows were closed, I didn't have a fan on, and I was alone. I sat there for a long time. The noise hadn't even stopped. The headphones were just making the blasting air noise until I turned the noise canceling mode back on. Then it stopped. That night I had gone to bed. I couldn't get what I had heard out of my head. It didn't feel right. It didn't sound right. I kept going over and over it in my head, but eventually I fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. At least I thought it was dreamless. There were no images in my head. Instead, there were just noises. First, I heard that familiar jingle, ambient sound, activated. Next was silence. Then it crept in slowly, like whatever it was moving in and out of range. Closer, then further. Closer still, further. Up until I heard what sounded like a long exhale into my ears. I shot up from my sleep, grabbing my ears, trying to swipe away the headphones that I thought were there. After a few swipes, I noticed there was nothing on my head. I sat up for a few minutes, trying to gather myself. I still held my ears. It felt like someone violated my boundaries, too close. Then I heard it again, ambient sound activated. This time it was from across the room. My headphones were blinking to life. I could hear a hissing coming from the speakers, rhythmic, going in and out. Then the hissing changed. Laughing. It sounded like laughing. I got up. I grabbed the headphones. I opened my window. And then they disappeared into the night air as far as I could throw them. I should have been relieved. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Morning came. I was exhausted. My apartment was dead silent. I felt like I couldn't trust my own hearing. I spent the rest of the day blasting music from speakers, trying to hear anything except the memory of the night before. I couldn't stop touching my ears, like the ghost of the headphones still hung on my head. The sun was already setting again. I sat up in my bed, the music still blasting from my speakers. Then, like the pressure in the room changed, my ears popped. The music started to sound far away, like my ears were closing off to the world around them. I pulled at my earlobes, like I was trying to let the sound back in. Eventually, I couldn't hear anything. I tried to speak. I could feel my vocal cords working, but could hear nothing. Then I heard it. No jingle this time, but a mocking whisper. Ambient sound activated.